I get home and I literally spend probably 3 weeks on the corner of my bed in the cannonball position, crying like a schoolgirl. It took me a lot to get through that. So long story short, I finally started researching, like, what did I do wrong, man? Like, how did I chase this girl away? I treated her like gold. I gave her everything she wanted. I spent money on her. I did her favors. I blew smoke up her ass in every single way possible. And that's the reason she blew me out. When you telegraph that you're needy, when you put the pussy on the pedestal, quote unquote, and a lot of you guys know this, you get blown the out. You get your heart ripped out of your chest, thrown on the ground, and sprayed with biohazard diarrhea, which is exactly what happened to me.
The Unapologetic Man Podcast.
When I was in high school, I was pre-pubic. In fact, I didn't go through puberty until I think I was about 20 years old, which is totally embarrassing. I'm going to have my podcast editor, Liam, put up a picture of me. This is when I was 16 years old, standing there with my brand new custom-made surfboard. I used to get pulled over like literally a couple times a month because I looked like I was 12 years old when I was 16. So it goes without saying that I absolutely didn't pull girls when I was in high school. I didn't lose my virginity until I was 21. I went to the college UC Santa Cruz, which is kind of in the middle of California or a little bit like Northern California, somewhat close to San Francisco. And I remember the first girl I hooked up with is when I was 20 years old. And I'm making out with this girl. I'd never kissed a girl before. And I'm in her dorm room making out with this girl. And I get her tits out. And for some reason, her and I start talking about how my dad died when I was 10 years old. And I shit you not, boys, this is so embarrassing, but it's a testament to just how much I've changed. I started crying on her fucking tits because I'm talking about my dad and how he died when I was 10. And I start crying on her tits, maybe believing that my tears would be used as lubricant for sex, which obviously didn't happen. So I'm like crying to this girl and she's like, it's okay, like patting me on the back as I'm crying on her fucking naked tits. Needless to say, she blew me out the next day. So a year later, I think when I was 21, I met this girl named Crystal, and I'm going to show you a picture of her. I'm having Liam cover up her eyes for her identity, but you can see in this picture just what a beta cuck I am. Like, look how insecure I was. Look what a fucking low value loser I was. And this girl cheated on me. The reason she cheated on me, and this is a huge reason I coach the way I do, this is a huge reason I named my show the Unapologetic Man Podcast, is because what I did with this girl is what I think a lot of guys do and we think will work but doesn't work, which is to turn her into a queen, to blow smoke up her ass, to do her favors, to kiss her ass, to chase her, and to be extremely needy. Now, I was needy because I felt growing up that perhaps my mom didn't give me the love that I really wanted. So I was trying to get that from Crystal, but all I did was chase her away. And after, I think it was like 6 or 9 months of being together, I can't even believe she lasted that long with what a beta cuck I was. I mean, I would do this chick favors. I chased her. I worshiped this girl. And I did. I was so in love with this chick. So 9 months in, I go to her dorm at a time that she didn't expect me to show up, and I literally heard her having sex with another guy in her dorm room. Now, I've been asked from time to time, well, how do you know it was her? Because she lived in a single dorm, and I could recognize her voice through the door. So I'm listening to this, and I just went completely pale. I don't know if you guys have ever experienced this. I know some of you have. I fell to my knees, man. Like, I literally dropped to my knees. And I didn't know what to do. Like, what do you, like, scream and knock on the door? I didn't do that, but I heard her having sex and I could hear his voice in there. I wanted to fucking kill this guy. And I actually later figured out who he was. And I did have a lot of fantasies about fucking that guy up. I never did it, but I did have fantasies, and I know a lot of you guys can relate. So I literally, guys, I fell to my knees. My car was parked out back. I like stumbled to my car, drove home on the freeway. I must have been going like 15 miles per hour on a 55 mile per hour freeway because everybody was honking at me and speeding by me as I'm crying and just absolutely decimated. I laugh about it now because I've totally dealt with it. And I kind of actually do think it's funny. And I have forgiven Crystal because any girl would have done that. I would have done it. if I were in her shoes, I would have done it a lot earlier than she did it. It was mostly my fault. Now, cheating, it's fucked up. Maybe she should have broken up with me first, whatever, right? But I get home and I literally spend probably 3 weeks on the corner of my bed in the cannonball position, crying like a schoolgirl, yelling over and over again, Crystal, how can you do this to me? I swear, boys, my roommates would check on me and they're like, bro, like, are you okay, man? You haven't eaten. You've just been crying here for like weeks on end. Like, are you okay? And it took me a lot to get through that. So long story short, I finally started researching, like, what did I do wrong, man? Like, how did I chase this girl away? I treated her like gold. I gave her everything she wanted. I spent money on her. I did her favors. I blew smoke up her ass in every single way possible. And that's the reason she blew me out. When you telegraph that you're needy, when you put the pussy on the pedestal, quote unquote, and a lot of you guys know this, you get blown the fuck out. You get your heart ripped out of your chest, thrown on the ground, and sprayed with biohazard diarrhea, which is exactly what happened to me. What's up, brother? Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. To watch the full podcast episode, click here. And before you go, if you're feeling extra generous, please like, comment, subscribe. It really helps me in the algorithm. I'd sincerely appreciate it. Unapologetic Army.